Um, Hi everybody. Like I said, my name is Lisbeth. I work at American River College, Natoma Center, and I'm honored to be back this year. I did this presentation last year, and it's always a really good outcome, and it's always a privilege to work with Parent University. So I'm going to be going over a lot of information. I'll try and keep track of the questions if I see them, but if I don't catch them, I'll catch them at the very end. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to be going over the benefits of community college and why the community college route might be a good option for students. So to start off, I actually wanted to go over a little bit of the background of community colleges and how they got started. So community colleges actually started as junior colleges, and they were meant to actually restrict access to universities. So they really wanted universities to be more research focused and really only admit the best and brightest students to them. So they created junior colleges to serve more as an extension of high school to limit the enrollment to universities. But then during the Great Depression, the mass unemployment rates created a need for more vocational education, which is how workforce development programs started being created at the community college level or at the junior colleges. And because of the GI Bill as well, there was an enrollment surge. And during this time is when the name change really shifted to calling them community college to reflect the connectedness to the communities they served. And their goal shifted to be more serving the community and ensuring that there were multiple options for Americans to get a higher education. So today, that's kind of what the community college still does. The needs and the resources that we provide kind of shift depending on what the
Thank you.
community's needs are.
Eat your food.
So for some of the reasons that students tend to choose community college, I'm sure you're familiar with the most popular one, which is the financial relief that it provides students. So this chart right here is going to kind of show you the difference in tuition prices. Community colleges, at least in Los Rios, we charge $46 per unit. So for a full-time student, the tuition cost per year comes out to about $13.50. This is with absolutely no financial aid if the student is just paying out of pocket. And of course, most schools also have some student fees that are separate. In our district, those are usually around $20 to $50, depending on how many units the student is enrolled in. So even though $13.50 is the general price tag for attending, most students coming to a community college straight from a high school do get 2 years completely free. And the biggest misconception that we have about this is that parents will say, our family makes too much money. I don't think we qualify for financial aid. But I do want to emphasize that even if the student does not qualify for most aid, the 2 years free they still would qualify for, at least in the Los Rios district. So the California College Promise Grant, this is the one that most people are familiar with. It was formerly known as the BOG waiver. This is income-based. So students that make under a certain amount of income, they will get free tuition. But most community college also offer the California Promise program, which is a little bit different. And this has no income requirement and it works the same way. It still covers the student's tuition amount. The only thing that the student really needs to do is fill out the financial aid application. You don't really need to know the difference between the two programs. The financial aid office takes care of that for you. They will apply whichever one the student qualifies for. So I definitely just want to emphasize that even if you make a certain amount of money, still fill out the FAFSA if you're going to community college, because that's what kind of kickstarts the addition of this program to the student's account. Another question that we get quite often is how are the prices at community colleges so low? And I did just kind of want to touch on this a little bit. Community colleges are a lot smaller than universities. We're not research focused, so there's really no need for us to hire very specialized faculty or professors that are experts in their field or conducting research. There's also a lot fewer amenities. There's not as many buildings, right? We don't have on-campus housing and stuff like that. So that really allows us to keep the price of our tuition as low as possible. And we also offer the lower division general education courses. So we don't have a lot of specialty focused classes that we need to pay a lot of money for or to spend money on special labs or anything like that. But with this, another misconception as well is that the quality of a community college might be lower than that of a university. And that is not true. So instructors at community college oftentimes are also teaching at universities. So we have a lot of instructors at the community college district level that are also teaching at Sac State or at other universities nearby. And the college classes that students take at a community college need to meet the same requirements that the university does, which is what makes them transferable to a university. So just going over some transfer opportunities, this is the path that most students take when attending a community college, and there are a couple ways to do this. So there's two different pathways. One of them is an agreement between a UC and the community college, and one is between the CSUs and a community college. They're a little more technical, and what I always advise is that the student sits down with the counselor and talks about these programs. Not every university participates, but the most popular ones that we see are UC Davis and Sac State, and both of those do. So how these agreement works is that if a student initiates this at the beginning, they basically sign an agreement that if they complete a certain amount of classes with a certain GPA, they get guaranteed admission into the school that they want to attend. Yes. Another great option for this is also a great option for students that are undecided. So some students know that they want to go to college, but they don't necessarily know what they want to study quite yet. And I think that community colleges are a great way for students to kind of explore different areas because they're not paying the university ticket price to kind of change their mind halfway through if they decide to do that. So it's a good area for them to kind of explore and to ensure that they find really what it is that they want to do once they transfer to a university. And this kind of shows the transfer student success rate. So research has shown that students that transfer to a university tend to do better once they get to a university. This is due to the fact that they get to have that college experience right after high school. And so once they make it to the university, they're a little more accustomed to how things work, how to communicate with their professors. Their study skills are a little bit more polished. So they tend to do better once they transfer to the university. The other advantage of going to a community college first is that students have the option of transferring with an AA degree under their belt already. So a lot of students that are going to a university but know that they have to work through those 2 years, having an AA degree allows them the opportunity for more job opportunities and maybe earning a little bit more money than they would have without the AA degree. And then also wanted to talk about the certificate as well as the career technical education options at American River College. So students don't necessarily need to transfer to a 4-year if that's not what they're interested in. We have a lot of career technical education programs and certificates that might be a little bit more appealing to students, just kind of depending on what they want to study. There are a lot of different programs. So unfortunately, I don't have the time to talk about all of them and kind of go over them. But if you do want more information on these, please feel free to reach out. We have a great career tech outreach specialist that is really knowledgeable on all of these programs as well. I did also just want to talk about the opportunities that students have even during high school. So you might be familiar a little bit with dual enrollment. So dual enrollment is a way that students are able to take college classes while still in high school. There's a variety of different ways to do this. So depending on the school that your student attends, some dual enrollment classes are offered on the high school campus. However, if that's not the case at the school that they're attending, they can always attend a college class outside of their high school day. So a lot of students will take an asynchronous online class or an evening class after high school. But the benefit of doing it when they're in high school is that it's completely free to them. I think right now students are only paying the $2 like student fee that all students get, but this is also being worked on being waived for them as well. So it would be completely free. And it allows them to get a head start on their college degree, to get some more units under their belt before they transfer to a university or whatever it is that they want to do after high school. And so the requirements for this, if they are interested, the most popular route is called the non-CCAP route. That's the one where the student kind of independently takes their college classes that they're interested in. For this, students do need to be a freshman or 14 years of age by the first day of classes. And they do need to have approval from both a parent and a school representative, usually like a counselor or a principal. And they're able to take classes in the fall, spring, and summer. Classes could be in person, online, or hybrid. They really do get treated just like a regular college student. Um, a lot of times they're in classes with other college age students, and nobody usually knows the difference or knows that they're in high school taking these classes. And then lastly, I did want to talk a little bit more about the Natoma Center and the services that we offer here. So we are a part of American River College, but we have a center right here next to Inderkum High School in the North Natomas Library. And we offer a lot of the same services as main campus. So if you ever need help with the application, if you ever have any general questions, we're happy to help you right here in the office. We do offer some financial aid support. We can print ID cards for students, and we also work, the North Natomas Library works with the ARC Library to be able to check out books to students right here as well. So we are a smaller campus, but we try our best to offer as many resources as we can. And you may have noticed the construction happening right next door to us. We will be expanding. Our current building has 6 classrooms, and once our new building is up, we'll have over 20, which will be really exciting. And a lot of those classrooms will be lab classrooms, which are the classes we're not able to have as much right now because we don't have a lot of lab space. So once this new building comes up, we'll be able to offer a lot more classes to the community. And then lastly, I did want to talk a little bit about our ACE program offered here at the Natoma Center as well. This program is geared towards the working adult. The classes are a little bit more accelerated. They're 8 weeks long instead of the typical 16. This is typically more appealing to adults that are working, but anybody is really encouraged to apply and can participate. So I just wanted to give this as an option in case any parents or anybody that you know is interested in coming back to school. It offers an accelerated path to earning that AA degree for transfer. And then this is our general contact information. We're located at 2421 Del Paso Road. And I will also include my information in the chat just in case you have any questions that maybe I don't answer today. That way, you can always email me and I'll reply to you as soon as I can. And then I did also just want to let you know that we are hosting a Parent University workshop here at ARC on April 23rd at 5:30. And this is our workshop that kind of explains how to create a successful transition to community college. So if between now and then you decide that community college is the route for you, you're more than welcome to attend this workshop. We'll help you fill out the application and give you the steps to ensure that you make a smooth transition into the community college. And that's it for me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and then I'll check if there's any questions.
Okay, and then for the parents that are here today, you will get the date with the registration information for that session that Liz just shared so that you can go ahead and get registered for that if you are interested in attending. Okay, so if you have any questions for Liz, feel free to put it in the chat. She'll be responding, and then we're going to pass it over to Charles Coe for the Sac State presentation.
Great. Thank you again, Kathy, and great job, Liz. So again, my name is Charles Cole. I'm with Sacramento State. I'm here to represent the California State University system, but I can also answer questions about, of course, Sacramento State. So as the California State University system, you can see we have over 23 campuses that are part of our system. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how we started and that we are also part of what Liz mentioned, the California Master Plan of Higher Education. We draw from the top third of high school graduates, and primarily we started as a teaching institution and also counseling when we first started. We focusing on undergraduates, but we do also have and expanded our scope to offer including the workforce demand in higher education with doctorates in audiology, education, nursing, occupational therapy, and physical therapy and public health. And I'll share some more about the majors we do also have. So as the 23 campuses you see on the map, we are the largest and most diverse public university in the United States. So we welcome students from all over the state, the nation, and the world. So our students come from all kinds of backgrounds, and I think that's what people are looking for with that racial, ethnic, and financial and academic backgrounds. We produce over half of the bachelor's degrees. So 1 out of 10 people employed in California likely got their degree from a California State University. Out of the 23 campuses, San Diego's the furthest one south, and then we also have Humboldt in the north. And about 2 hours away, there is a CSU. And of course, you have Sacramento State, you got Chico, Maritime Academy, Stanislaus, and Sonoma State within a 2 hours drive from you. Our largest campus is Fullerton State, has about over 40,000 students. And our smallest campus is Maritime Academy there in Vallejo. So our whole approach is hands-on research. We have a large range of research institutes and centers, and we make a very distinctive in making high impact practice so available to students through experiential learning models where students can work directly with faculty, scholars on research scholarships and creative projects. The CSU, we pride ourselves on learning from professors and not just graduate assistants. So students will know what they can get mentorship from faculty, students, and learn those things that develop them in critical thinking skills. And I think those are things that the future careers and workforce needs for California. So in addition to those conduct research, we have a breadth of topics like agriculture, biotechnology, and desert life. So there's a lot of possibilities and opportunities within the California State University. And like I mentioned, we do research opportunities, and we have 3 campuses that launch startup competitions. And so these competitions is where students will be able to show their research and innovation and get awards for this. And Sacramento State, we placed second with our team who created a safeguard with AI. And so it helped with security systems and software for schools that use artificial intelligence to detect danger and notify safety officials about those. So even if students stay in California, they can expand themselves and have global connections and a perspective that is, I think, is rich as part of the CSU system. So students can study abroad and acquire international skills and global understanding. I think employers want that real world experience. So even if hometown heroes want to stay in Natomas or in Sacramento, they have the opportunity through our international programs to do study abroad and the same tuition costs as if they were paying here at Sacramento State. So we have over opportunities in 60 programs in 18 countries. Some of the most popular ones are like in business, biology, kinesiology, political science, and psychology. And so students can do 1 semester or a full year, and they can start as early as their freshman year, but we recommend that they at least get a 1 year foundation before studying abroad. So what can you study? We have over 4,000 degrees that students can study from. And each camp is a little different from others. And students can do undeclared if they decide that they don't know exactly what they want. And I think that's a good choice because they can consider programs and offer in particular areas like in general education. But hopefully by their sophomore year, junior year, they can have a program they can commit to and graduating in a timely manner. So again, we start as a teaching institution, counseling, but we have a range of them, like dairy science is a popular one in Fresno. Kinesiology is very important here in Sacramento as well as San Diego. Hotel management is a popular major in Northridge. Also cybersecurity, popular major at Santa Barbara, not Santa Barbara, San Bernardino. And business is the #1 major at all the schools. 1 out of 5 students here at Sac State is a business major. So there is a way that you can explore and maybe utilize the counseling center within Natomas to take some assessments and find that interest in what's best skill assets they have. So we have this program where you can find your major by going to calstate.edu/degrees, and they can see which campuses offers the degree that they're interested in. Take a second if y'all want to make a note of that. So now I told you about all the good things about the system. So how do you get in? So there's many pathways. I'm gonna focus on 2. I'm gonna focus on coming out of high school and then talk about transferring to Sacramento or one of the CSUs in the pathways. So to be eligible for admission, students need 3 things. They need to graduate from high school, meet the A through G or the 15-unit comprehensive pattern, and have an eligibility index or an admissions index that is 2.5 GPA. We are test free, so we don't require students to have the SAT or ACT, but they could use those scores for placement and scholarship, but are not required for eligibility. So those are the 3 things. Minimum GPA 2.5. We calculate GPA based on 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. We use 9th grade subjects, but they're not calculated in the GPA. And if someone's GPA falls between a 2.0 and a 2.49, we use the multi-factors score. So these are additional things that are factored into their education, and they're answered on the application. For example, did they go beyond the A through G requirements? Are they first generation or low income? Where is their high school located in proximity to the campus they're applying to? Do they have additional years in mathematics? Are they serving in leadership positions or extracurricular activities like government or playing sports? So those are some of the requirements for our first year students and get into the university. But we started with making sure that we had a pathway for transfer students. So the master plan said for every first-time freshman we admit, we have to admit 2 transfer students. So here, even at Sacramento State, we have about 60% of our students come from the local community colleges here, and more than half this past year were transfer students. So that is a clear pathway for students. So to be an upper division student, having 60 transferable units, 2.0 GPA, also completing general education, including speech, English, critical thinking, and math. So this is another pathway for students. And they can achieve this through the associate degree for transfers. So this is a guaranteed admissions as long as they complete the associate's degree for transfer. Or they just go with the traditional route where they're completing 60 units GE in the major prep courses with a 2.0 GPA. We use a system called Assist that will help students selecting those major classes while attending the community college. So they can stay on track and they can know exactly which course will count for American River College and how that course would transfer over to San Diego State. So it's a great system. Assist.org is the articulation agreement and includes that for the University of California, the California Community Colleges, and of course, the California State University. Now, we do have something called Impaction because there are probably more eligible students out there, and some campuses cannot accommodate them because they do meet the minimum. So students must go beyond the minimum requirements to be eligible. So we have some programs that are more impacted, and then we have some campuses that are more impacted than others. So these campuses here, Fullerton, Long Beach, San Diego State, San Jose, San Luis, and Pomona are highly impacted. So I mentioned the minimum requirements. These 7 campuses will require a higher GPA, probably additional courses to complete. And so when students are applying and looking at one of these campuses, I do recommend that they apply broadly, and so that they can get the best advantage and get the best choice for them. So for Sacramento State, we're not impacted. So all our local area students will meet the minimum, will have guaranteed admissions. And these are the other campuses that are non-impacted, and you only have to meet the minimum requirements. So Liz did a great job in talking about some of the programs and the tag agreement and the transfer rate for students. And that's a good plan, I think, that students can do 2 years at the community college and leave debt-free and go on to a 4-year school and still be successful and graduate in a timely manner. So we do have partnerships with our local community colleges. And so we do have this transfer success pathway. If a student decides not to go on to a Cal State University and decides to want to go to the community college, this transfer success pathways, they will have a guaranteed admissions and essentially make a contract with the campus. They'll do this just before they start the community college after graduating high school. So again, if they decide not to want to come to Sac State or not to want to come to one of the 22 schools, definitely want to do a transfer success pathway. And so what this does is for first-time freshmen entering the community college, they'll have a cycle where they will begin the application starting August 1st. We did extend this to November 1st to match our application filing period. And they can participate in this, but not all majors because of the impaction, but with all campuses, they can participate in this agreement. Nursing is the one that is not part of the transfer success pathways for all the campuses. So again, graduating or left high school since 2024, they had no college enrollment, and they're first-time freshmen attending a community college. That's the eligibility requirement. They have what is guaranteed admissions. They'll have access to university resources like the library. We'll have ongoing advising with students once they enter into this contract, and get assistance with filling out the financial aid. And one thing that we do here at Sac State, we have these engagements with students where they're invited to football games, time meeting with the president. So there's more activities engagement once they enter this agreement. And just to recap again on this, they must complete this program within 3 years, meet the upper division admissions requirements, have a 2.0 GPA, complete all the major prerequisites, including the GPA, and sign that agreement with that campus. We also have this planner, so the planner will keep track of their progress in meeting the application and in a timely manner, so students can start this without going into the transfer success pathways, create a planner so they can stay on track and they know exactly which courses they need to meet the requirements to transfer. I'm going to skip this here and go here real quick, but for those who are thinking about applying, there are schools that are still open accepting applications. Sacramento State is still open for fall 2025. Our deadline is next Friday, so a week from tomorrow. If students are interested, fall 2025, we're still open. And they just need to have their transcripts, know their social security number, citizenship status, and income, and the payment method. The application is $70. If there's a financial hardship, students can get a fee waiver and apply up to 4 campuses if approved for that fee waiver. And we do have workshops to help students get started on the application. We have one tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I'll put in the chat in a second the information to applying if anybody's interested in attending the application workshop tomorrow. We have these weekly every Friday. Normally, the application filing period is October 1st through December 2nd, but some campuses, such as Sac State, extended that deadline to February the 28th. When students are looking for adding a program, that's the major. And students will see the majors and the degree type, like a Bachelor's of Arts or a Bachelor's of Science. For nursing at Sacramento State, it's health science. That is the degree home for students who are looking to go into nursing. Nursing is highly competitive, so in the event they don't get approved for nursing, they'll still come away with a health-related major. And just wrapping this up, despite impaction, CSU is committed to California and our students. We know that over 92% of our students have come from the California, so we are the engine that runs California. Over 54% of students, families have earned a bachelor's degree coming from the state of California. And want to make sure there's mobility. Personally, my daughter has gone through Sacramento State, graduated in 4 years, left Sac State with debt-free. My second daughter, who left off to San Jose State, also is going to be leaving college in another year debt-free because it's affordable. And she got scholarships and plus my checkbook, but we made it happen. And I think there's the best bang for your buck by staying in California, so not by going into debt, and my kids can start their social mobility and have that economic freedom we all desire. As you can see here, average cost to go to Sacramento State or a California State is $6,084. That is well below what the national average is for students attending the school, and especially lower than what it is for students to leave the state of California to go to school, maybe back east or somewhere else. So it is a good investment by staying close to home. And so just to wrap this up, there's 23 campuses. There's 2 hours away. We're world-class education that is affordable, and we're empowering generations for generations to come. This is my contact information. Feel free. I always respond to my emails, colec@csus.edu. Come and visit us also. We're located at 6000 J Street. We offer campus tours Monday through Friday, including Saturdays. So come and visit us and see what we have to offer. Thank you so much.
Okay, so if you have any questions for Charles Ko, please put it in the chat so he can respond directly. Since we do have a packed schedule, we probably won't have time to directly answer all of your questions. So the chat is the best place to do so. Okay, so we're going to pass it over to Miss Diana.
Okay, thank you. Let me get set up here. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Again, I'm going to go over the CalKids program today. We're going to be introducing CalKids. We're going to determine how you can determine eligibility. We're going to go over the newborn program, the newborn children. I'll talk about the student program. How do you request a distribution? I'm going to talk about the opening and linking a ScholarShare 529 account and talk a little bit about the ScholarShare 529 program as well. I'll provide some resources and go over some frequently asked questions. And if there's any questions you might have, we can either wait till the end or you can put them in the chat. So CalKids. CalKids is a new program that the governor started in 2022 for eligible newborns and low-income public school students. It's a program for California where they could receive up to $1,500 in free scholarship money in a CalKids account. So who is eligible for CalKids? There's two groups. First group is all newborns born in California, July 1st, 2022 going forward, regardless of income. And the second group is low-income public school students. And I'll talk a little bit more about each program. So quickly, to determine eligibility, many of the families were sent a letter that looks like this from the CalKids program. Some families received them. They thought it was a scam, they throw it away, or they misplaced it, or they didn't receive it. We have maybe a wrong address. That's okay. You can also determine eligibility on our calkids.org website. There you will need 3 unique identifiers, and we'll go over those. So for the newborns, all children born July 1st, 2022, again, regardless of income, born in California are eligible for a CalKids account. This information is provided to us from the California Department of Health, and we ask that you please allow at least 90 days after the birth registration to check for eligibility. For the newborns, the state again automatically establishes these accounts. So for the first year, the newborn children born July 1st, 2022 through June 30th of 2023 received a $25 college savings account. Now in 2023, we were able to increase that to $100. So beginning July 1st, 2023, going forward, all newborns will receive a $100 college savings account. Now, when they go register for this account and claim it, they get another $25. And if you link a new or existing Scholarshare 529 account to your CalKids newborn account, that's another $50. So to determine eligibility to claim your CalKids account, on this letter at the very bottom, there's a CalKids unique code. You could either use that if you have the letter, or if you don't, you can go on your birth certificate number, which is a local registration number. On that birth certificate, you can use that number. You're going to need the child's date of birth and then the county in which the child's birth was registered. For the students, eligibility is determined by the local control funding formula on fall academic census day. So generally that includes students who received or have applied for the free national school lunch program. Now I know during COVID, all students received free lunch. Not all those students are eligible. Just because you received free lunch, you would have had to apply and qualify for it. Also, families who have submitted an alternative household income form. Sorry, my slides have a mind of their own. Sorry about that. Or students who participated in the CalFresh, CalWorks, the food distribution program on Indian reservations, or Medi-Cal, English learner status students, migratory, homeless, and foster students. Now, this information is provided to us from the California Department of Education. So the first year, which is academic school year of 2021-2022, we tried to capture all the eligible 1st through 12th grade students that were in public schools and that were enrolled on fall academic census day, which is October 5th, I believe, of 2022. And we opened those accounts. Going forward, beginning academic school year of 2022 and 2023, it's only the incoming first graders that would be eligible because we've already captured all the 1st through 12th grade students. Okay, and we ask that for any eligible first graders, you wait at least till closer to when they finish first grade, to check eligibility because it takes some time for the Department of Education to provide us that information and then for us to open those accounts. Okay, for low-income students, their award, if they are eligible, is $500 in a CalKids account. Okay, if they are determined to be a foster youth, it's another $500. And if they are identified as unhoused or homeless, they get another $500. So that's up to $1,500 in a CalKids account. Again, these are scholarships. Okay, for a student to claim their account, they would need either that unique CalKid code that's on this bottom of this letter, or they would need their statewide student ID number. Now that's their what's on their transcripts. It's the SSID number. It can be found on parent portals, on you can ask your counselors or your teachers, and it should be on your either parent or student portal, but it's your statewide student ID, not your school ID. You're going to need the date of birth, and you're going to need the county of where that student was enrolled on fall academic census day. So for the 1st through 12th graders that were in school in 2021-22, it would be October 6th, 2021. So you would need that county of the school where you were at in 2021. And then the first graders going forward is 2022 and going forward. Okay. So once you've determined you have an account, you claim it, you need to be at least 17 years of age to use this money, to request it, but it has to be used by age 26 or you lose this money. You can use it at any eligible federal financial aid institution. And at any eligible accredited institution in the nation that accepts federal financial aid. To request a distribution, you would go into the CalKids portal. It'd be easier once you register to see that there's a button that says request distribution. And you let us know where you want that money to go, how much, and when. We never ask for any taxpayer identification number. This is all based on your statewide student ID. You may use part of that money or all of it, but it will be going directly to that institution. So you need to be enrolled in the institution prior to requesting that money be sent. And it is treated as a scholarship. So we ask that you contact the financial aid office and talk to them about where you want this money to be used. So these funds, they could be used for higher education expenses like books, tuition, room and boards, a certain room and board, what's allowed for the school, computers, internet, things like that. Okay, so opening and linking a ScholarShare 529 account. So what is a 529 account? So 529 plans are a flexible and tax-advantaged savings plan that you can use to save for higher education expenses. Any earnings grow tax deferred, and distributions will be 100% tax-free as long as that money is used to pay for qualified higher education expenses. And again, those expenses could include books, tuition, fees, computers, certain room and board costs. To open a ScholarShare 529 account, you must be a U.S. citizen or resident, at least 18 years of age or older, and you must have a valid Social Security number or taxpayer ID number to open a ScholarShare 529 account. Now, this is different than a CalKids account, where we don't require Social Security numbers on the CalKids accounts. So a little bit about ScholarShare 529. There are many 529 plans out there in different states. They all have their 529 plans. This is California's. ScholarShare 529 is California's official college savings plan. We are overseen by the ScholarShare Investment Board, which is chaired by the California State Treasurer's Office. We have more than 25 years in helping families save with over $16 billion in assets. Those are savings accounts for students to use to pay for higher education. So how does it work? You can open an account for as little as $1. You decide how much you want to put in there, when you want to put in there. There's no minimum requirement that you have to put in every month, or that you have to put, $100. You can start with $1. The money that goes in is after tax, but any earnings are tax deferred. So we have many investments to choose from a guaranteed fund to aggressive. You decide, you manage this portfolio. And then when you get ready to use the money, you don't pay any taxes on it. Again, as long as it's used to pay for higher education. This money could be used at any accredited any accredited institution in the nation that accepts federal financial aid, 2-year, 4-year trade school, vocational apprenticeship. And you can change the beneficiary at any time. Unlike the CalKids program, you cannot change the name of the beneficiary, but with the ScholarShare 529 account, you can use this account to grow your savings account, have family members contribute into a ScholarShare 529 account with this program that's called YouGifting. For birthdays, holidays, special occasions, family members can help you save. And this account does not expire. The ScholarShare 529 accounts do not expire, and they are transferable. If you decide you want to go back to school as a parent, you can do that as well. Okay, so if you link a CalKids account with a ScholarShare 529 account, basically you're seeing both accounts on one screen. You cannot transfer money from one account into another, and you cannot combine them or change beneficiaries from one account to the other. CalKids accounts are owned by the state of California. A ScholarShare 529 account is owned by you. So here's some resources. CalKids.org is where you go and check your eligibility. Again, what you would need is either for newborns, your birth certificate. For students, you would need your SSID numbers. Now, also, there are students that graduated in 2022 that are already in college. They could potentially have a CalKids account because they're automatically opened and they're open until age 26. So if they didn't open it last year, they have until age 26 to claim it and use that money. You can also go to our YouTube page. We have many videos to choose from to explain the programs, both ScholarShare and CalKids program more. We have social media platforms. You can go to our ScholarShare529.com website. There's webinars available on both CalKids and ScholarShare. You can call our call center for the CalKids program. That's an 800 number. The ScholarShare has one too. Or you can click on the Contact Us tab in the website of either CalKids or ScholarShare 529. So some frequently asked questions. How can I quickly determine eligibility? You would visit our calkids.org website. On there, you would scroll down, it'll say confirm your eligibility. Click on that form, and whether you want to go either to the newborn section, you would go there, or you would go to the student section and then enter the pertinent information on those screens. It'll be a section that lets you enter a number. If you are eligible, it'll say congratulations, you have an account, go register. And there's a button to click to register. If you are not eligible, it'll say cannot find account, appears not eligible. Will my CalKids funds impact my ability to receive financial aid? Now, because the CalKids are owned by the state, it should not affect the FAFSA. But we ask that you contact your financial aid office just to, discuss any of the disbursements of that and to make sure that it is being distributed as a scholarship. do I need a social security number or taxpayer ID number? With the CalKids program, you do not need a social security number or tax ID number. We do not ask for any information on the parents. It's all based on that statewide student ID number. For the ScholarShare 529 account, on that program, you do need a social security number or taxpayer ID. Can I add money to a CalKids account? You cannot add any money to a CalKids account. These accounts are being invested, so they are earning interest. And when you get ready to request that, you don't pay any taxes on it. But you cannot add money into these accounts. That's why we recommend that you open a ScholarShare 529 account. That account you manage, you control, you can transfer, family members can contribute into those accounts. Okay, so any questions? That's pretty much my presentation. There's my email address. You can always call the 800 number. I'm going to check the screen real quick, see if there are any questions.
Okay, now is your opportunity. We have a few minutes for any questions. If you think of any questions later, you can also email presenters. I will provide their contact information in the follow-up email tomorrow. You'll also get the video recording from today's session as well as the PDF copies of the presentations. All right, so we're going to open it up. It looks like there's a question in the chat. It's what if I don't need the accounts anymore?
Okay, so for the CalKids account, that one, if you don't use it by age 26, you lose it. Okay, and it's specifically for higher education expenses. That money goes back into the CalKids account for other students. Now, with the ScholarShare 529 account, that's the money you put in there, you fund, you manage. That one you have options. You can transfer it to another child. You can even leave it for your grandchildren. Again, this account does not expire. If you need to take the money out as a non-qualified withdrawal, you can, to use it to pay rent or anything other than higher education expenses. You can do that, but you would be subject to penalties and taxes, but only on your earnings, not your contributions. Your contributions are after tax, and it would be only on your contributions. You can also use it to pay student loans up to, I believe it's 10,000, I believe. And there's a new legislation now that the money could be rolled over into an IRA for the beneficiary. But there's rules on that you have to leave it in that account for at least 15 years. So, but there are options.
Okay, so the next question in the chat, what are the pros and cons of 529 account in California versus other state?
Different states have different benefits for their residents. Some states have a tax credit for the residents of that state. With the ScholarShare 529 account, we are working on trying to get a tax credit. We don't have that yet, but we have one of the lowest fees. So fees are one of the main differences in that we have one of the lowest fees of any of the 529 plans out there because we are a direct sold plans. We don't necessarily have financial advisors selling for us, which raises the prices of the fees that you have to pay. So there are many good plans out there. Don't get me wrong, but yes, fees is one of the main differences and things to check. Okay.
Okay, so do we have any more questions before we end the session? Now is your final time to get any questions you might have. Okay, if not, we are going to wrap up this session and you'll get all of that follow-up information from me tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Have a good evening.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.